Hi there guys, welcome back to the Art of Business English, where we help people like you get the language skills that you need to succeed in any environment where business English is required. Now today I have got an episode on grammar. Imagine grammar, we're going back to the grammar, which is important. We need to understand grammar, we need to understand some of the more useful grammar elements or aspects of the language. So that's what we're going to be checking out today. So today, if you are a basic or intermediate level student, we are actually going to be looking at more advanced grammar, but it's nonetheless useful. So listen up as we dive in and check out today's grammar. So today we're going to be looking at used to and would. So used to and would. Now I'm going to give you the explanation of what is used to and would. Then I will talk about the theory and how it's used. And finally, I'm just going to finish up with a few little examples. So let's jump into this episode. Now, used to basically is used to talk about things that we did in the past, but things we did repeatedly. So if you are a Spanish speaker, you will understand it as solía, okay? Now, would is also used as used to in the past. However, you may be a little bit confused, especially if you're an intermediate or you're not an advanced speaker, because we have learnt in the past that would is the conditional for verbs. So I would drink coffee is the conditional of drink, no? So like would drink is the conditional for the verb drink. So why is would used with used to? Good question. So let's look at why or how we use would and used to. So we probably should start by looking at the structure. Okay, so used to it's used in the past. You can see that it ends in ed, so it's used, used, no? Used to, and it's followed by the preposition to. So as I mentioned, it's used when we want to talk about repeated actions that we did in the past, or a state. Okay, it can be for repeated actions or a state. So let me give you an example. I used to live in Australia. Now I live in Spain. So used to live is a state. That was my, a state of being. I lived in Australia in the past. So I can say, I used to live in Australia. Now, you can also use it for repeated actions. So these would be repeated actions that happened in the past. So, for example, when I was a child, I used to go to the beach every weekend in the summer. So it was repeated. Every weekend I went to the beach. So I used to go to the beach every weekend. So that's sort of used to in action. It has an affirmative, a negative, and a question form. So let's look at that. The affirmative is the subject plus used to plus whatever it is that you did. So the action. So I used to live. So we put subject plus used to plus verb. Okay, so I used to live in Australia. Now, if you want to negate that, okay, you would say I didn't used to. So we modify used to a little bit. The pronunciation is almost the same, so this can be a bit confusing. So subject plus did not plus use, use, space to. So subject plus did not or didn't, and then used to. Because used to in the negative form is coming after did not, then we don't have the D. We don't say use it. We don't say didn't use ed to. We say didn't use to. Okay, so that's the structure in negative. So I didn't used to live in Australia. Now, you can also ask a question. And when we ask a question, it follows the very same rule as a normal simple past structure in English. You would put the auxiliary verb did first. So did plus subject plus use, again, not you said, but use, U-S-E. So did plus subject plus used to. Did you used to live in Australia? So that's how you would use the question form. What's also interesting, and you need to understand that Because we're talking about things that if it's affirmative, that it's something that used to or did happen in the past, it means that now in the present it doesn't happen. Okay, so I used to live in Australia. If you hear someone say, I used to live in Australia, you know instantly that now, in the present, they do not live in Australia because they used to and now they live somewhere else. In my case, I live in Spain. So, the same is true but opposite for the negative form. I didn't used to live in Spain. If I say I did not used to live in Spain, it means in the past I did not, but now in the present I do. Okay, so you can switch it depending if it's affirmative or negative. So just remember that if it's affirmative, the thing did happen in the past, but not now. And if it's negative, the thing did not happen in the past, but in the present, yes, now. I hope that's clear. Okay, you can check out the blog where it's written up nicely. Okay, so if you are listening to the podcast or watching the YouTube video, head over to the website and you'll see it. Now, and obviously in questions you're asking, you know, did you used to live somewhere, or did you used to like this, or did you used to play football? So it's a question, meaning did you do that in the past? Okay, so those are basically like the three structures, no, or the ways in which we can use it in affirmative, negative, and question form. Okay, so that's used to. But then I mentioned at the beginning of the episode, would. This strange would. Right, let me explain would. Now, would and used to are only interchangeable, so you can use either would or used to when we talk about past repeated actions, not states. So, when I was a child, I would always go to the beach every weekend in summer. When I was a child, I used to go to the beach. I used to always go to the beach every weekend in the summer. Okay, so you can see that I've used would or used to because going to the beach is a repeated action I did in the past. Now, that's different from a state of being. So, living somewhere, for example, is not a repeated action. It's a continuous state. You know, you live in that place. So, you cannot say, when I was young, I would live in Australia, because that doesn't work, because it's not a repeated action. You can only use used to. So, when I was young, I used to live in Australia. I hope you got that, yeah? So, used to has two forms, used to and would, but only when we're talking about repeated actions in the past. Okay, so really important. Okay, you wouldn't use would in the negative either. When I was young, I wouldn't go to the beach every weekend in the summer. I mean, I would say when I was young, I didn't used to go. Okay, so I'd negate used to. So we're really just using would for repeated actions that we did in the past. So really important that difference between the two. So you've got would in used to in affirmative, used to in negative, and used to in questions. You can use would in a question. When you were young, would you always go to the beach in the summer? Okay, that would work as a question. So, you know, you've got different ways to use used to or would depending on if we're talking about repeated actions in the past, or in the case of continuous state, then it would only be used to. So let me give you some examples now to help you understand it. Let me grab some just going to pull them out of the top of my head. I used to like eating green beans. Okay, if I say I used to like eating green beans, that means that in the past I used to like eating green beans, but now in the present I don't. If I wanted to use the negative form, like I would say, when I was a kid, I didn't used to like eating vegetables. Okay, so I didn't used to like eating vegetables. But now, in the present, I do. I like eating vegetables. They're very healthy and tasty too. As a question, you could say, when you were young, did you used to eat vegetables very often? Okay, so when you were young, did you used to eat vegetables very often? So you can see now we have the three uses, okay? Let me look at one with would now. So when I was young, I would always go fishing with my father. He would always take me fishing on the weekends, okay? So I would always go fishing, or my father would always take me fishing. Again, you could say, when I was young, I wouldn't go fishing with my father. I would probably say, when I was young, I didn't really go fishing. I didn't used to go fishing, sorry. So when I was young, I didn't used to go fishing with my father often. It was only sometimes, okay? And then as a question, I could say to you, so when you were young, did you used to go fishing with your father? Well, yeah, I did sometimes, okay? So we can use it in these three ways. Those are some more examples. So let's quickly look at some more examples just so we're clear. You've got would as the conditional. So if I say to you, would you like a coffee? This is not related at all to used to, okay? It's like, would you like a coffee? I'm asking you a question now in the present and I'm being formal. So you can't really say, when you were young, would you drink coffee? I mean, that to me doesn't sound right. You would say, when you were young, did you used to drink coffee? So you can see that we really just use would in affirmative to talk about past repeated action. So when I was young, I would often play tennis. So when I was young, I would often play tennis because playing tennis is a repeated action in the past. Okay, so I really hope that that's clear. And if you do have any questions about would or used to in this, used in the past for these, habits or repeated actions, then please head over to the blog post or drop me a message on social media. I'm more than happy to explain that. But I'm sure if you're like an intermediate learner, you can see how that works. It's not super complicated or difficult, yet understanding past repeated actions or habits. This is how we do it. This is how we talk about it, and it's a good way to help you become much more expressive and understand these different structures and grammar tenses that we use in English. So I hope you like that, people. That's a quick one from me today. Maybe soon. I've spoke to Loic the last week and he's been super busy, but probably have him back on the show. And we're going to share with you over the coming weeks a little bit of grammar to help you on your way and with your learning journey. So stay with us and have a great week. I'll see you all next week. Take care. And if you are interested in improving your grammar, then check out my general English courses over at the Art of Business English. That's it from me. Take care now, guys, and I'll see you all next week. Bye for now.